Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video here today on Monday, because we have some pretty big news here to talk about today with regards to Battleworld. Now, if you guys watched my video that was earlier on this morning, then you would have known that it is for sure 100% coming back next week. And there was a pretty interesting video strike spot that was announced by the Marvel Strike Force official YouTube channel, which showed a lot of the changes coming to Battleworlds more specifically, and also some details which I asked in my other video, which was related to Null and how many shards that we can expect when this comes back. And all of that is largely answered. Also some teasers about that they're working already on the second version of Battleworld, which I guess would be before the time that players get 7-star on Null. There's a couple of unanswered questions though. So let's boil this down. Okay, so there was this video titled "Strike Spot: The Return of Battleworld." I'm actually gonna go into full screen mode for this, so we can take a look as we can go through this a little bit. And so it's not really that important until we start getting to where Pathfinder talks about some of the stuff that's basically coming back. And there's going to be, we kind of knew this, there's 3 missions per zone. There's going to be an elite mission, a herald mission, and a standard mission, as you can see here on the screen. But what's actually really important is the traits. So he goes through everything in full detail here that you can kind of see that he has global hero, global and hero. I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos. I guess I mistook what I saw in the data mines as global hero, but it's global and hero, or is that the same thing? Global or hero? I thought it was global hero, but maybe I'm mistaken here as to global and hero separately. So you could use global characters or hero characters. Anyways, it doesn't really matter that much. But what is important is it seems that they actually did make some meaningful adjustments to the characters, right? I think this is looking at difficulty 5 here. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on. But you can see here that there's, like, before, I don't know if you guys remember, but before the waves were absolute garbage. It was like defenders and some other bullshit, random bullshit, just like thrown in there. Like, it was super old characters. It wasn't hard at all. It was just a slogfest of autoing. This time around, it does seem like it's a little bit more meaningful. Like, the enemies, it could, require some thought, right? You have your hive mind, you have your masters of evil, you have some annihilators in there, and some astral characters as well, right? So there's a lot of meaningful enemies in here that could make things a little bit more challenging. Now, as he goes through, you can see that there's going to be 3 missions per day. So there's 4 days, or sorry, Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, and then Zone 4 is Null. And then 1 through 3 is going to have 3 missions of their own with different traits. The elite mission is going to be there basically every single day, but it's going to be Astral and X team. I believe I also covered this in a previous video. Herald mission is still that kind of boss battle, where it's just kind of like one wave with, in this case, I think for Zone 1, it's like a giant gore. Essentially, you can see it there. Actually, it was there. If you missed it, it was like a hive mind with gore, and a really powerful gore, and he's kind of stacked, and you can see the different mods up on the side. And we talked about that. This was in the data mines as well. So I'm just going to jump ahead. It does have the details of mission 2. Sorry, Zone 2. It should be here. Where is it? Yeah, Zone 2. There we go. Pause that. City and villain. Oh, no, I thought I paused it. What the hell? There we go. City and villain. City and hero. Herald mission. So it must be or. No, that's or. I guess it's both, right? Yeah. City hero and city villain. Astral or Extreme X-Men. I find it weird that they're asking you to use Extreme X-Men in what's basically the city version or the city section of this, but it is what it is there. And then we're going to carry through to Zone 3, which is in here somewhere. Zone 2, elite mission. Jump. Zone 3, which is Cosmic here, right? There we go. So Cosmic Hero, Cosmic Villain, and then Astral or Spider Society. I feel like that was repeated again, because wasn't that what it was in the first zone? But anyways, there you go. So it's just going to be a bunch of mods, right? Things that I've already talked about, at least in my other videos. And what's really important is the Null information, right? And so he carries on to talk about that. Actually, I wanted to kind of point this out, which is really interesting. So you can see him that he actually unveils the enemies of this elite mission here on Zone 3. And it is really, really interesting with the enemies that are on this. That, like I said, it appears that it could be challenging content, which is good to know, right? You know that this could possibly be good, but it's once a month, so this is the kind of stuff that I would have liked to have once every week or once every 2 weeks. Like if they're gonna dumb it down to 4 days instead of 5 days, I would have been more than okay to have this weekly. That's just me, especially if it's challenging content like this, where it would actually, give me some manual gameplay to give me some thought to actually play the game, because that's the kind of thing that I've been missing in Marvel Strike Force these days, is something where I can actually play the goddamn game. I just everything else has been auto sim, and this looks potentially could be a pain in the ass, right? I'm looking at Annihilators, Illuminati, Absolute A Force with apocalypses and things like that, Annihilators. So yeah, it could be not fun, but it does, at least on the surface, appear to be challenging. So I will take it for what it is there, and look forward to playing it and see how it is. And but knowing that it's once a month, I guess is a little bit unfortunate, because this seems like the kind of gameplay that I would like to have in a PvE experience. And you can kind of see the rewards here as well, the possible rewards behind my head here. So that is about 160,000 purple ions. So that the purple ions are coming back, but again, it's once a month, and so I just want to kind of just show that off really quick. Now he does go on to talk about Null, and it is coming back, of course. They've largely fixed the bugs related to Null. They've also nerfed Bleed. So you can kind of see it here on this, that no single attack can inflict over 3% of a boss's maximum health. In addition, damage caused by Bleed, stolen health, or attacks based on the boss max health cannot exceed 3% as well. So what that appears to mean, and I listened to it, and I think this is what it means, is that basically the culmination of the bleed damage per turn cannot exceed 3%. Because I believe that how it was in the past, how it was before, was that the bleeds were ticking individually, and so that you could get some like crazy per turn figures essentially from the bleed damage. And so I think that all of that combined will not exceed more than 3% of Null's max health. So virtually they've kind of nerfed bleed. We'll see whether or not that makes any impact in terms of like, is it still worth doing it on one of your attacks or not. Keep in mind that I think that there was only three null attacks, right, that you could save, or it's been a while. I don't quite. I think it was three, right? Your top three null attacks. I think that's how it was. So we'll see whether or not any bleed team even like makes the top three at this point anymore, with the reduction in damage that way. Also, he clarified that the difficulty that your alliance landed at by the end of Battleworld, when it went away, is where you're going to be able to start. So for my alliance, we did get to difficulty 5, which means that we are going to be able to start at difficulty 5 when it comes back. And if you did not, unfortunately, it seems that you are probably going to need to have to climb your way up every month, which is unfortunate because it only comes once a month. So it's going to be a slow climb through the difficulties. And so if you didn't take advantage of it when it was out, then there's going to be a little bit of a problem for you. But the the null participation rewards are here. And so at the top end, there is 100 shards of null for a full clear, aka you killed them once. This is a D5, like D5 killed once. So we'll see how easy or hard that ends up being after the first time. But what that tells us, though, is that basically you're going to get null unlocked. For those of us who are at D5 anyways, you're going to get them within 2 months. Because I'm at 37 out of 180, which means that, I need 143 shards, which I don't even need actually the full 100 to get them unlocked. The 200 also won't get me to 5-star anyways, but as long as my alliance can get to the 1 to 20% range for me or higher, for 2 months of this, then we'll get Null unlocked. So there you go there for the rewards. And it also is put into, you can see the Battleworld credits as well, 48,000 Battleworld credits, 240,000 purple ions. And he does bring up a table as well where you can kind of see this in more detail. I believe it's just showing up here in a second. And he brings up this. So depending on your difficulties that you're going to be running on Battleworld, here are the monthly null shards that you're going to get. So if you start right at the bottom, or if you are starting, your alliance is starting right at the bottom of difficulty 0, then you are only going to get 20 null shards for a full clear, all the way up to 100. So 20, 30, 40, 50, 75, and 100. And I think a lot of more serious alliances probably are in this D3, 4, 5 range, I think, right now. So if you're not, I think if you're not in D4 right now, you're probably not going to get Null unlocked within 2 months. because 150 plus what I have, right, would get an unlock. So if you're a D4 and you had this kind of many shards, if you had over 30 shards, then D4 would be fine. But if you're behind that, you're going to be having to wait for a third month. And I guess that's going to separate the differences on alliances between those who participated strongly in the beginning and those who did not. So do keep that in mind. And of course, it scales depending on the percentage damage that you do to Null, which you can see on the table here. So for D5, it goes from 20 through to 100, 15 through to 75, 10 through 50, depending on your difficulty, etc. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? You know, Null is officially coming back, or Battleworld's officially coming back next week. And I don't think it said specifically what day it's going to be next week, but one thing that they did mention was that they are already working on their second Battleworld boss. And there's a few things that were not really made clear to me. Actually, there we go. Battleworld returns on, I think I just saw the teaser there, February 18th. So February the 18th is going to be next Tuesday. Okay, so it's going to start for Tuesday, which means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Null is on Friday. So that was the question that I that I had, because Null was previously on Saturday, and I guess people don't want that, right? I think Crucible is on the weekend now, and so they're trying to kind of like cover the days, I suppose, where maybe there's gaps in gameplay, something like that. There's a few questions that were unanswered. Where are we going to get red stars for Null? That was not made clear in this video at all. You know, red stars are important to a character, even a character like Null, who has a really powerful kit. But if by April, you know, some of us have him unlocked and he's basically at 4 yellow, 0 red, I think he's not going to be as strong as we anticipate. Like, his kit is good, but by and large, his stats are not going to be that strong by that point, because we're in full swing in the new stat era. So that's going to be really important to know where those red stars are coming from. The second thing is, of course, that they've already teased that they're working on the next iteration of Battleworld, of which there were data mines months and months ago, like back in October, when before Battleworld was coming out. There were some Easter eggs about a Sue Storm Battleworld boss. A lot of people were suggesting that it was Malice, which is, I believe, the evil persona to Sue Storm, something like that. I don't know the full details of that. And so we'll see, right? Whether or not that Easter egg that I found in the data mines is actually going to come true, and that's what they're actually working on. That would be absolutely hilarious, in my opinion. Otherwise, maybe Onslaught. We at this point still don't know 100% how and to what degree he's coming to the game, whether or not he was intended to be the second boss for Battleworld or not. But he also had that Dark Descendants tag, so there's a little bit of confusion as to you know, what this means and what their plans are. Maybe he got shelved and pushed back, and that's why, you know, we've started to hear about Starjammers and some other things like that on the horizon as well, which we hopefully will hear more of this week as well. So just a little bit of a Battleworld update and a few miscellaneous things. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below with regards to Battleworld. I'm cautiously optimistic about it being fun. So I'm looking at the enemies, I'm looking at the waves. It looks more challenging, right? So it's better than the Autofest that it was. But you know, if it does end up being really, really good, I hope that they consider actually bringing it back on a more regular basis. So we'll have to see. I'll reserve my judgment for next week when it does come out. You know, how am I having? Am I having fun with the actual waves? That's what I'm most excited to be looking forward to, because I want some actual gameplay in my Marvel Strike Force. That's it for now, everyone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.